Hello, lovely to see you all today. My name's Farron and I am the Active Communities Officer for Active Surrey. Firstly, I want to tell you a little bit more about what we do as an organisation, who we are, and how we help support young people with additional needs and disabilities across Surrey. So, who are we? In 1999, we were established by Sport England and other local partners. We are a not for profit organisation that is hosted under Surrey County Council. We are the county's strategic lead for physical activity and believe that movement matters. It matters to our health, our schools, our communities, and also our environments. There are 43 active partnerships in the UK, and obviously we are one of them for Surrey. We work collaboratively to help everyone in Surrey realise the benefits of a more active way of life, focusing on particularly influencing systems, removing barriers, and creating opportunities to get people moving more. So, what research have we done? In 2021, Active Surrey conducted some research focusing on young people with additional needs and disabilities and their parents and professionals that work with them. The research was carried out to understand how best we can support and encourage young people experiencing these disabilities and additional needs to get active and help remove the barriers as much as possible that prevent them from taking part. We produced some extremely significant results through this research, particularly through the surveys we conducted with over 350 parents, carers, and their children taking part, as well as over 120 professionals also took part, whether that they were from sports organisations, clubs, coaches, teachers, support staff in the schools, all different stakeholders getting involved. So some of the key figures from our research included that a very significant number of 69% of children and young people were inactive, doing less than 2 days of physical activity per week. We also realised that 48% of these young people attended mainstream schools and 35% of them attended specialist schools. The majority of the young people's additional needs and disabilities focused on the autistic spectrum. So that's where we probably gathered most of our data from young people that were autistic. We also identified some of the key barriers that stop young people and children taking part, which included their own anxiety, fear of judgment by other children and their parents, the fact that they had no one to do the activities with. Specific coaches and staff didn't have the required skills to be able to look after them or understand their needs. There were no activities close by for the children to do, and also there was a much bigger need for an additional one-to-one support, which wasn't available or isn't available. We also found out some information about the top 5 sports or activities that disabled young people wanted to try, which were swimming, trampolining, gym and exercise classes, football, and also cycling. Another key statistic that we also found was the fact that the majority of the children that took part in our surveys actually realised that they wanted to do a club or a session with everyone. They didn't actually specifically want one for their own disability or need, which was extremely interesting to see. We also, off the back of the survey, we wanted to know what we could do in the future, especially with some funding available. So 3 things that came up was funding to improve the skills of additional needs and disabilities of the professionals to be able to deliver these physical activities. Some additional funding towards local facilities and resources, which are local for families. And then finally, funding to pay for children and young people's family or friends to attend the physical activities with them so they aren't having to go into it alone. Then we finally looked at the parents and professional views about what they think would make it easier for their young people to take part. So that was upskilling staff, increasing activity sessions, being able to manage expectations of the children and young people attending the session beforehand and managing their anxiety, providing the correct facilities, having more links with local providers, and also increasing the availability of transport for the young people. So it was hugely impactful conducting this research, and something we will continue to use and have shared with various partners across our networks. So, what work do we currently do for young people with additional needs and disabilities? We have various programs that we focus on as a partnership, and we will continue to work on them and grow them as the years go on. Firstly, we do work on something called the Surrey School Games, which is a programme of events delivered through district sport associations, and all pupils have the ability to take part regardless of their ability. So if you've never tried sport before, physical activities before, this is something that can be advertised for you. They also try and make them as inclusive as possible. So much of the activities can cater for those with additional needs and disabilities. There's also another event called the Specsavers Surrey Youth Games, which is the largest multi-sport and physical activity youth event in the southeast of England. It offers free training for ages 6 to 16 for young people that may not necessarily have had access to the sort of sporting opportunities that others take for granted. This year, the games had a completely different focus, and it was aimed at beginners and to be inclusive as possible. So it completely took the competition element out of the games, and it was just a focus on having fun and joining in no matter what your ability was or is. We also do a lot of inclusive work through Surrey schools. So Active Surrey have an inclusion lead who works with all the special schools in Surrey, and help shape their calendar of events throughout the year to help facilitate adding new ones in where needed. They also ensure that all schools, both mainstream and special, have the appropriate resources to cater for their additional needs and disability pupils. They also have the task of organising a minimum of 3 inclusive practice training sessions per year aimed at both schools as well. Their work also helps to shape the Surrey School Games to make it as inclusive as possible by working with various partners. We also have something called the Holiday and Food Activity Programme, which was launched off the back of Marcus Rashford's campaign to help young people with access free school meals throughout the holiday period. So the government has funded local authorities across England to run these free half camps for children aged 5 to 16, and in Surrey this is known as Club 4. The camps cater for the young people with additional needs in various ways. So they have 3 kind of main areas that they focus on. So one is young people with complex needs. So these are our short break providers that focus on the young people on a one-on-one basis, and are much more targeted. Then there's the mainstream camps, which are all list on their activities, who they can cater for, and kind of what level of need this may be. However, this is done on a slightly larger scale, so it might be one activity leader to 12 young people, for example. And then finally, there's the Middle Ground Camp, which was something that was launched over the summer. And this isn't necessarily as targeted as the 1-to-1, but it's not as big as the 1-to-12, say. So it's more focusing on kind of one leader to roughly 5 or 6 young people. And those that are on free school meals, parents, or anyone in general can go and book onto these camps throughout the main holiday periods, such as summer, Easter and Christmas, for their children to sign up and have something to do, where they'll also be provided with some food education as well. We then have something called the Together Fund, which is where Active Surrey works with Sport England to distribute grants for organisations to help them recover from COVID and help to support the growth of them going forward. So the grants can be awarded from £5,000 up to £10,000 for larger projects. They have 4 target areas, priority areas that they want to work on and address. These are the low socioeconomic groups, ethnically diverse communities, disabled young people and adults, and also people with long-term health conditions. This is something we are currently in the process of doing and approving, kind of projects and deliveries at the moment, which then get sent to Sport England for the final approval. We then are working across the network hugely with local stakeholders, including Surrey Coalition of Disabled People, Surrey Youth Focus, Family Voice, various sports clubs and organisations, schools, and many other groups to maximise our reach and offer to individuals. Working and networking with these stakeholders and individuals, groups, organisations really helps to shape a variety of our programmes and ensure we reach the right target audiences to give them as many equal opportunities as possible for everyone. So really that just gives you kind of a summary of how Active Surrey are helping to address the needs of these young people. I'm going to be at the event today, so if you want to come and speak to me, please feel free. I can tell you a little bit more about the programmes that we have got running, and what we want to do with our work going forwards, especially the research that we conducted, and if we can help support young people and additional needs in the future. Thank you very much, and I hope to speak to you throughout the day.